I've got my last guest in the studio with me right now, who I have had on the show before. I believe he was one of my first guests when I joined the scene as a humble, inexperienced radio presenter. I believe I'm a bit more experienced now, and he's definitely been doing his thing since. His name's Woodzy, and he's an award-winning flow poet, two-time TEDx speaker and winner of UK Unsigned 2019. He's got music, he's got events coming up, he's got so much going on, and he's going to bless us with some of his poetry. Woodzy.
Hello.
How are ya?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. How has your day been?
Yeah, my day's been good. The last couple of weeks have been crazy busy, so it was nice to have a bit of a free day during the day and then to make my way here.
Yeah, nice.
And just have a bit of time to breathe.
Yeah, clear your mind, just relax, because you got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Which we will talk about. So I mentioned I had you on probably like 2 years ago now.
It was during lockdown.
Yeah,
so
that misty, crazy time. How has life been for you since then?
Yeah, life's been full on since. So as soon as the world opened up again, it's just been events, projects, working, and yeah, just very busy, but the good type of busy.
Yeah, booked and busy. We love it. Just give us a bit more of a background, if anyone didn't hear you 2 years ago, exactly how you got into spoken word and everything you're doing around that.
Amazing. So I'm one of the flow poets, and
what is a flow poet, by the way?
So a flow poet is a collective of poets, and our mentor is Natalie Stewart, who is the flow assist.
We are talking about the flow assist.
The flow assist.
We love that.
And she actually had a headline show last night in Boysdale in Canary Wharf, and it was crazy. I
can imagine the energy.
Yeah, it was fire.
Ooh, okay, so you're one of the flow poets.
One of the flow poets. So I started off in music around 10 years ago. So I started off wanting to be a rapper on the playground, and then I went through some personal stuff, didn't write anything for a few years, and I went to a spoken word evening. I'd never really heard about I'd heard of Sully Breaks and George the Poet, that was it. That's all I'd heard of, right? And I got invited to go to an evening. I went and I got completely blown away. So there was a guy performing called Broken Pen, who is now a very good friend of mine, but I saw him and it was like something just clicked, and I was like, yeah, like it just made sense. So from there I started writing, going to lots more shows, and then I started getting booked for it, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should take it seriously. And from there just started performing more and more, started writing more, and yeah, it's led me to so many places. Like my pen's taken me to the other side of the world, which is crazy.
Where?
America. So I've been there a few times. I'm actually going to Philly next week. I'm flying out on Monday.
Oh, wow. We booked and busy and catching flights.
Come on.
I love it.
So that should be exciting. So that's with a company called Voices in Power, and they do shows in 5 states in America. And we're actually going to be launching the London event. I'm going to be running it. We got the partnership secured, and the first event is an exclusive.
Oh my gosh.
First event is going to be May the 4th, and it's going to be at Kindred in West London.
We've got an exclusive there. Wow, you really are busy as well. So imagine, like, have you ever thought about if you didn't go to that event and you didn't see
Imagine. My life would be so different.
What do you think you'd be doing?
I have no idea, but probably not this.
Well, you never know. You might have somehow still got here. But
I mean, I feel like I was meant to do poetry because I was born on World Poetry Day.
Oh, really?
I only found this out like last year. Yeah, my birthday is World Poetry Day.
And that is the 21st of March.
Yeah.
Is this month.
Next Tuesday.
Oh, my goodness. Well, happy early birthday.
Thank you very much.
And there you go. We've got a poet who was born on World Poetry Day. And I think we need to hear some of your poetry now. So, okay. Woodzy, please take it over. Reintroduce yourself. Introduce what the poem is called. And I'm going to hand it over to you.
Amazing. So this poem is called Man Down, and it's inspired by a very close friend of mine. Just a trigger warning, I do talk about mental health and depression. I was always in the corner but never in the ring. But now this is my call in mental health, I'm answering, I'm in. Now you got me on the line, but never had me on the ropes. It's an uphill battle and I'm coping with the slopes. Taking more steps, making progress, I'm focused. I'm training all the time from being so stressed, emotions just playing on my mind. I don't think that I'm depressed, but I know that I'm not happy. Just because I'm smiling on the outside doesn't mean inside that I'm not angry, because I am, and I do feel down. Sometimes I just want to scream and say it out loud. But you know what it's like? That's not allowed. You're a man, be proud. They'll be telling you man up. Until they're screaming man down. Saying, why didn't he speak up? Because you put the man down. Man down, man down, man down. Suicide is on the rise and they're surprised by the figures. Well, numbers don't lie like the smiles in your pictures. You've been soul searching till you're itching all the blisters. Put a filter on your feelings, hear them screaming in the distance. Man down, man down, man down. Have you ever been down in the depths of a dark place? Where the silence is so loud you can hear your heart race. It's like you're in a car chase, but the lights are on red. Partaking, heartache, text sent left on red, going from missed out to missed calls to missing to I missed them. You can't put a filter on your feelings, hear them screaming in the distance. Man down, man down, man down. Now I'm trying, I'm training, I'm taking my time and I'm testing my brain and my body. I'm aiming for heights from the lows and I'm focused on goals, on my growth. So let's go and we'll grow and we'll learn and we'll turn it around. Hear the sound of a smile in my voice when I'm speaking. For a while I was down but never out, and now I'm proud of how I'm feeling. And now I'm breathing. This is more than boxing. This is more than sport. This is the fight against our mental health, and this is fighting talk. It's not always about the KO. It's about being okay. Sometimes you have to say, no, we know it's going to be okay. Speak to your friends. Trust me, it helps. It's not a bad thing to talk about how you felt. Fighting mental health. Let's take our first steps. It's not about how many times you knock a man down, but all the times he gets up and prepares for what's next. Thank you.
Woo! Do you know what? I can just imagine how that lands in a room full of people. Like, people are listening and hanging on to every word. That's powerful.
Thank you.
Are you aware of the impact that that's had on people? Has anyone like reached out to you?
Yeah,
and said?
a lot of people have reached out. So that poem actually went viral on TikTok last World Mental Health Day.
Yeah.
And it did crazy stuff. And you can, I can't remember what it's called, but when you do someone's video, you use their sound on TikTok.
Yeah.
And over like 500 people did it, learning it, and then like was just doing it to the camera. But from that, had so many people reach out and just say thank you for being able to speak about that. And it's really interesting performing at events, people that have gone through stuff like that, that come up and talk to me afterwards. And it's such a blessing to be able to just say it's going to be okay.
And this is the power of poetry, man.
100%.
Because that's a difficult, depression is difficult to talk about. And how do you open a conversation up? Do you know what I mean? Like, how do you do that? But then when you get up on stage and you so brilliantly put it there and you almost speak for people that maybe don't want to talk about how they're feeling, that's powerful.
Yeah, and that poem's really special to me because it was written about a very close friend of mine. So when I wrote that, it was around 3 or 4 years ago. He'd gone through a really hard point in his life. Luckily, he got to the other side of it and launched a boxing company, which is why there's the boxing references in there. And I wrote that poem to celebrate him being able to go through that journey. And the best thing about that is I got to take that poem to loads of different places. I got to perform it at Wembley Arena, which was crazy.
Yo, wow.
Yeah. So
you were really booked and busy. The price is up.
For real, yeah. But for me, what was so beautiful is when I got to go to Wembley, I got to bring someone with me. So I brought him with me.
Oh, this is gorgeous.
I wrote the poem about him and his experience. Got to take him all the way to Wembley Arena. So it's what you put out into the world and into the universe, it's going to come back to you.
Oh my God, tenfold. Wow. Just staying on that subject before we move on and talk about your music as well. What would you say to anyone right now who is struggling or knows someone and they can feel that they're struggling but just doesn't know how to approach them or what to do?
Yeah, it's tough. I'd say for me personally, if I'm struggling to be able to talk to anyone, I go to writing because that's obviously something that's really helped me, but it's obvious saying that as I'm a poet. I'd say just find some time to do something that makes you happy. Like whatever your happy place is, find a bit of time in your day just to have that time to breathe and to be able to do that.
Yeah, and is your happy place making music? One of them.
One of them, yeah. One of them.
Let's talk about your music because you've got your EP out now called Peace In, Peace Out.
Yes.
I love that name, by the way.
Thank you.
We breathe in the peace, we breathe out the peace. I love it. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so that project's been in the makings for a while. So I started it before lockdown happened, and then that just kind of put a full stop, and it stopped for ages. So I couldn't get back in the studio, and I was working with just one producer on it. So even after everything opened, it was hard to be able to get back in. But we finally got there. And yeah, the project is kind of putting spoken word and music together. I'm really trying to showcase that, because poetry, especially when I perform at shows, I do a lot of shows with a company called So Far Sounds, and when I do the poems there, people are always like, I didn't think I liked poetry, but then I saw you perform. And it's so interesting because when I was at school, I didn't really like poetry that much.
I was the same.
Right? So now being able to hopefully change people's perspective on it is such a big thing. And through this project, I really hope it's going to be able to do that and kind of break the barriers between music and poetry.
And you know what you said, what you put out in the universe, you get back. There's probably people that have come and seen you perform, and now they're like writing poetry.
I hope so.
And they're probably now, this loop is going to continue, because the same way it started with you going to a show
100%.
and thinking, oh, actually, I like this kind of poetry, because I think that's what it is. When you're in school, them anthologies. I mean, I just wasn't interested.
Same.
But then when you hear someone that sounds like you's talking about subjects which you can understand, and it sounds also cool, I guess. Because it's more appealing. It's more appealing to young people as well. So peace in, peace out. What's the essence of that?
It's just about finding your happy place and being able to celebrate finding what your piece is. And then once you're in that place, being able to celebrate that you found what your piece is.
Yeah, and I've heard some of the tracks, and it's all very positive, the affirmations. Yes. You've also got Aisha Therese on one of the tracks as well, who we've had in the studio before.
Okay.
We love this.
Yeah, she's cool, man.
We love this. You've also got shows and live performances.
Yes.
And events happening. What's going on? What's the next event for you?
So the next event is this Saturday at the Music Room in New Cross, and it's the launch party for Peace Out, Peace In. And we've only got around 10 tickets left. Aisha Therese is going to be opening for me, along with Broken Pen, who was the first guy that inspired me. And we got some special stuff planned. It's going to be with a live band. There's a couple other special guests that I'm not allowed to name yet, but there's a couple big people coming down as well. So
okay. So how do we get tickets for this?
So if you go to my Instagram, which is @WoodzyGram, the link is in my bio. And or you can just search up Woodzy Launch Party on Eventbrite and you'll be able to find it.
And what's the price?
So price is £12.50 for a ticket.
And I'm going to tell you that's a bargain.
Right.
Because if we get to see you perform, Aisha Therese, Broken Pen, and some more guests. That's a bargain.
Yeah, it's going to be
You better go to this show now, because the next one, the price is up.
Hundreds.
Have you got anything else you want to shout out about?
So I do writing workshops in schools as well. So if there's any teachers listening, so I've been in loads of workshops in schools and colleges. And what we were talking about earlier about not really liking poetry in school, it's been so nice to go in. So I've done all the way from year 5s up to GCSE and A-level students, and it's been really interesting. And I've actually got my first one with a year 2 class, which is going to be in May. So I need to start designing how I'm going to deliver this.
How do you do a poetry workshop for kids that are in year 2?
We'll figure it out.
Find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
They might be teaching you.
100%. In the class, there's going to be a poet. You know.
Like, they're not even going to realise. They're going to get up and they're going to share it, and you're going to be like, whoa.
100%.
Too young to take you on tour. But that is dope. And also, World Poetry Day is coming up soon. Yep. So, again, give us your socials, your website. Where can people find you in case they do want to do a workshop with you around this time?
Yeah, so it's Instagram is @WoodzyGram, so WOODZY. And if you just type WOODZY into any social media, you'll find me. So TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of that, you'll find me.
LinkedIn is where it's at.
That's how I get on my workshops, LinkedIn.
I recently said I need to actually be on LinkedIn a bit more.
Right.
Because, even though I don't know how to navigate it. It's a bit like it's not, you can't just be on there like tweetering, you know what I mean? It's not, you don't just put anything.
It's just professional stuff.
And you have to write quite professionally.
Yeah.
Like, today I was in this establishment carrying out this.
Yep.
You have to tap into that. But Woodzy, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for
today.
having me.
I wish you all the best for Saturday and this year.
Thank you.
And keep inspiring our next generation of poets.
I can't wait to have them on your show in a couple of years.
I love that. Quickly, actually, before you go out, even I should have rounded that up nicely. Woodzy. Why are you called Woodzy?
My last name is Woods. It's nothing special. So before I was a poet, people just called me Woodzy. My dad was called Woodzy as well, so it just stuck. And I was like, oh, this is easy. I don't have to come up with a smart name. I can just go with Woodzy.
But you know what? That means you've always been the poet then. Do you know what I mean?
And the crazy thing is, I didn't realise this till the other day. I was born in a place called Woodhatch.
Really?
So Woodzy hatched from Woodhatch on World Poetry Day.
This is crazy. And on that note, thank you very, very much, Woodzy. Honestly, the miracles write themselves.
Stop me, please, I'm running circles. Like a clown, and life's a circus.